And we're back. I'm excited. It's a new season of Leaders Create Leaders. Where all my leaders at? New day, new goals. Let's own it. It's your boy G. And in episode 1, we're about to go and meet up with one of the most beautiful souls I have ever met. She is a rock star. She is a role model for this generation. She is one of the most humble, savvy, inspiring young women I have ever met. And not only has she accumulated over 10.8 million followers, but she's so much more than an influencer. She's become extremely vulnerable, connecting with her community, but she's truly impacting culture. She's a creator. She's now the founder of her company, Ren Active, which is an activewear company. We're gonna get into so many amazing things. Let's get to it. The story of none other, the one and only Alexis Ren.
I've seen you like to dance.
Yeah.
You grew up, did you grow up with that
yes.
passion as well?
I was a ballet dancer for 10 years.
That's
10
wow.
years. So that was another era of my life. Like
Right.
there's like eras of my life.
I say there's chapters.
Yeah.
Like we were like one big book.
It's like a big book.
Yeah.
So that was like one chapter of my life. It was a 10-year chapter of I was dancing 5 to 6 hours a day. I was like going to compete. I wanted to go to the Bolshoi or here in New York and just do that. That's all I wanted to do because I was homeschooled.
I did see a video of you doing ballet with a dinosaur though.
With a
you gotta play
dinosaur.
that clip. And I think that's better.
Okay.
All right, so winning.
Yes.
Winning.
So yeah, that was really, I mean, that's benefited me in so much, but ballet is very, very strict. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily healthy for your body.
Yeah.
And also there's not much money in it, and there's not longevity in it as well. So I kind of, when I was 14, I had to face reality and be like, oh, this is not, like, if I want to do this seriously, I don't know if you can do this seriously. I
Right.
mean, there are some girls that are just made to be dancers. And like, I have boobs, but like, my teacher was like, what? And I was just like, I don't know. So I had to not stop, but stop doing it seriously.
Right.
It started to kind of get, my body was like getting a toll on it and all that, but it was really good while it lasted.
Yeah. And you can continue still, like as like, you know, now it's just like something
and
that
as a
you
model,
enjoy.
like knowing my body like that is amazing because I think it's like some sort of a leverage. Like my favorite model, Candace Swanepoel, she was a dancer as well, and so I kind of based how I pose off of how she posed because of the way that she was a dancer as well. So it does help in everything that I do.
Yeah, I mean, ballerinas, I guess, are
Yes.
like they just, I don't know.
Their
it's
presence is like,
woo.
I know. Like the way they stand and say, like I'm like this, but like,
Yeah.
I used to be like that.
No, I've seen some pictures. You still got
Yeah,
that. You
like,
post like that.
It's good. Like it's a very powerful dance and it's very beautiful and
Yeah,
graceful.
It is.
But at the same time, not graceful at all because it's the most structured kind of dance I think there is because it's so specific with technique. But I've gotten more into like more freestyle nowadays. I like to do like contemporary and like hip hop and like really just have more fun because I took it too seriously and it kind of beat the passion out of me.
Right. You don't have like one passion, and I think you said something to me earlier when we were just kicking it, and I was like, man, that like makes so much sense because a lot of people, you know, me included, I've asked people like, you know, like what is your passion? Like what is your take on passion?
Yeah. Well, like I think, I don't know, passion, it's such like a serious word and it's so intense. And for a while I was like, oh, my passion's this, my passion's that. And it felt like it put so much pressure on that one thing that if it fell through, I felt like I would feel like a failure. So I kind of created, like, I came up with this thing being, like it's on my bio, but it's passionately curious. So like, I think curiosity is just the most harmless act of whatever, you know, you want to do. So it's not putting so much a pressure behind whatever you're pursuing. So if it doesn't work out, you're just like, okay, well, I was curious about it, but like it didn't go anywhere, so that's cool. I'll just go to this other thing. And it doesn't restrict you from feeling like you have to complete this because it's your passion and da 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 da. I think it's great to be passionate, but to have one passion, I mean, I'm sure people have one passion, and I'm not saying that's wrong.
Yeah, right,
because we're so impatient nowadays, like being curious is, I think, way smarter of a way to like figure out what you want to do as far as just like figuring out the passion ASAP. Because like Elizabeth Gilbert had a great talk about it, but she was speaking about how like we're the hummingbirds of this generation. We like to take things and like fly over to this and bring it over to that, and we all create this like passageways of giving to other people and exploring all of our other curiosities. And it's like, it's networking at its finest, really.
I love this takeaway because as millennials, Gen Z, we all think that like we need to find that one passion that's gonna be the end all be all. But being passionately curious is so important because we're always gonna evolve. You know, being okay with the fact of continuing to try new things, find different passions throughout your life is so important. So make sure to be passionately curious. In this next take, we're gonna talk about what it means to find real happiness. You know, and sometimes it takes some of the darkest moments in your life to be able to find that.
Talk to me a little bit about once you got a little bit older, did you leave Santa Monica? Like, what was your next move? And like, did you have role models growing up?
Well, my mom was my role model, like crazy role model, because she was like everyone's mom. You know, she was like Mother Earth kind of. Like my friends would come over and I'd be like, hey, what are you doing here? It's like Wednesday at like 1 p.m. and they're like, oh yeah, I was gonna say, I'm talking to you, and they just walk up straight to my mom's room, and I'm like, she was my role model growing up, and she passed away like, this is the day she was born and the day she died as well. So she passed away about 2-3 years ago from cancer.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Like I didn't even realize that's still even like recent, and like your mom, like that's
yeah.
wow.
It was definitely a timestamp on my life. And I always think of like there's certain things that happen in your life that just, it's like there was like your life before that and your life after that, but there was like, that's like a divide into like changes who you are as a person. Like there's like who I was when my mom was alive, and who I was after. It's like, it's completely different.
Oh.
One of the hardest things could be losing a loved one in your life. It's the reason why we need to always appreciate all the moments we have with the people we love. You know, carrying that pain is an everyday struggle. Alexis talks about that. But it's important to recognize that you carry a piece of them in your heart no matter where you go. And you have to use that as fuel for inspiration to live a full life of happiness, because that's what they would want for you.
I always thought you could take a parent's death one way or another. You can take it as in like, I just want to get relief. I want to like get rid of this, you know? And I kind of took it as like, okay, now I'm living for me and my mom. Like, okay, so now I really got to hustle. Really got to hustle. But I was
like, now she's like your guardian angel. She's looking after you.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know,
and like
now it's like, I really want to carry her in my heart. And
exactly. Like she didn't get to live the life that she wanted. So I'm gonna make sure that I live the life that I want to, because that's what she would want. So as that being one of my quests, I mean, fuck yeah.
Cute.
So how was your trip?
Do you guys want to see it?
Absolutely.
you pretty much traveled the world, right?
Yeah, I'm tired.
So what's like your favorite, I was gonna ask you what's your take on like social impact and like traveling the world and seeing all these places and everything and like.
I mean, it's it's like I mean, there's so many different beautiful cultures, and I was so grateful to be able to experience all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, see how many different people live so many different lives. I've always liked it where I like the idea of like going to a place, not living as a tourist, but I like going to places living like a local.
Yeah.
So like I only go to places now if I have a friend there, or if I have someone that can literally, I just want to live what you're living.
Yeah.
Because I like to experience it from a local's perspective,
Right.
because that's when I really think you get the true authenticness, if that's a word,
Yeah.
of the place.
The experience and
Yeah.
the place and the culture. That's dope. What's like one of your favorite places in the world?
I love Europe. Like I love Barcelona. I love Madrid. I think Italy's beautiful. I love Greece. I think Greece
Oh
is
my gosh.
absolutely beautiful.
I really want to go back to Greece. I haven't been in years.
Let's go to Mykonos.
Yes! Let's do that. Yes, I haven't been there in so long.
Yes.
You do have a very like artistic presence. Like the way that you live is I don't know if it's the West Coast in you that can be a little like, you know, I don't know, wavy, but you, it seems like you are, I don't know, the way that you live your life. I always like to say, you know, obviously a lot of my audience are entrepreneurial, even though I actually am like, the term entrepreneur now I feel like is just like overly used.
What is like the definition of that?
For me, it's creating something out of nothing. It's somebody that's a rebel,
That's dope.
you know? But I also think
So
of
like
them.
an intellectual badass.
Fuck yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
You heard it first. But I also feel like as entrepreneurs, people who like want to create their own path,
Ooh, yes.
they're artists in their own ways.
We don't have enough of those.
You know? I guess maybe I'm hoping we can inspire somewhere. Because I feel like you are a role model in that way. Like you are living your life, you're creating, it seems like you've been doing that since you were younger. But like so you were always kind of like that?
Subconsciously, yeah. And I didn't even realize that I was like that until I think a year or two ago when I was kind of reflecting and looking back, and I'm just like, whoa, like I've always been like this. I've always done this, like trying to get back to my roots and seeing how I was brought up. Like my life was, it was the ingredients of everything that I needed to become what I'm doing now. It was only just recently that I wanted to go from a model to role model, because I didn't believe in myself. Like I didn't feel like I was enough for that. So it for the last, I think, like year, I've been getting my self-worth up and my self-respect and like all that, and like working up my
more mental than anything.
Yes, like lots of TED Talks, podcasts, books, Osho, all that. What I've learned in the last year is the best way to learn is to listen. And it's such a simple concept, but by listening to other people, if you don't know yourself, you can sometimes find pieces of yourself in other people's experiences. And that's what I've recently found.
So the 3 key takeaways from this episode: 1, become passionately curious. Be okay with evolving and finding new passions. 2, make sure to live a full life of happiness, whatever that means to you. And a lot of times that will take you to get through some of the hardest moments in your life, but make sure to carry all of those people that you love with you in your heart. And 3, self-love. This is so important. You know, you need to learn to be okay with your flaws. Be vulnerable. Own it. Like, take ownership of who you are. You know, fully love yourself. And when you really truly understand what that means and you have that self-love, you will conquer anything and everything, and you will attract the right people in your life, the right relationships, the right everything, businesses, you know, and so important. So find that self-love. I'm getting ready to hit the helicopter and go over New York City. One thing I love about Alexis, she's all about adventure. So make sure, again, live life to the fullest. Congrats, Alexis. She just launched her new business, Ren Active, so definitely check it out. And until episode 2, make sure to engage and let us know what you think of Alexis's story. Until then, LCL Season 3. merch alert. I'm excited to announce that we are finally releasing our Leaders Create Leaders merchandise. All you have to do is head to the link in our description below and make sure to get it now because they're all in limited quantities. I want to repost you guys, so make sure if you're joining the squad, the hashtag LCL squad so I can find you and post you up.